part. Yeah.
7 months ago, we made sure, I already knew, that Diddy and Oprah is about to get arrested.
How about hashtag we all knew? How about hashtag tell the truth? How about hashtag accountability?
50 Cent just dropped a bomb that could change everything.
Named after the Oprah in your cap?
That's Oprah.
That's Oprah. Okay. Named after the Oprah in your cat's name is?
And then Gail.
And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually. But I also did participate. I also didn't go to the party. Yeah.
7 months ago, we made sure, I already knew, that Diddy and Oprah is about to get arrested.
How about hashtag we all knew? How about hashtag tell the truth? How about hashtag accountability?
50 Cent just dropped a bomb that could change everything. He came for Oprah, and this time he's not holding back.
I had to revisit that because it was like, it didn't make sense to me, babe. I'm like, so what did she do? She said something you didn't like? So she didn't work for 13 years after that?
Right. You ever wonder why Oprah seems to be connected to so many of Hollywood's most controversial and shady figures? We're talking about Diddy, Harvey Weinstein, and even that creep John of God.
But the fact that Oprah didn't get a Golden Globe nomination is shocking.
Hey, what do you think of Oprah for president?
I love that.
You do?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Were you skeptical as I am right now?
Yes.
Because this sounds
Yes.
crazy.
I know.
Yeah, all these men have been accused of some of the most horrific crimes imaginable, and yet somehow Oprah's name always pops up in the mix.
When we went to Colorado for the A to Z event, we had a lot of legal evidence that we made sure we already had because we knew a list of people were about to get got. You can't run for that long.
Coincidence? Or is there something deeper going on here? 50's not buying it, and after what he just said, it looks like this might be the end for Oprah too.
Once upon a time, you didn't like Oprah. Right. You're looking at it and you're saying that everything that's wrong with our culture is why I'm a success.
Wow.
So when I actually got a chance to talk to her, she was like, I never thought about it like that.
So what does she really know? And why has she stayed so close to these sketchy figures for so long? Let's dive in, because this one is going to get messy. We all know that 50 Cent doesn't hold back. When it comes to speaking his mind, he's got zero filter, especially when someone's on his bad side. And it looks like Oprah Winfrey has officially crossed that line again. Their history? Let's just say it's not exactly the stuff of friendships. We're talking years of beef between the rap mogul and media queen, and now it seems like 50 just dropped the final blow that could end Oprah for good. But what did he say? And what's really behind it?
I just said something. I made a comment about not understanding why they were choosing specific people for the Me Too stuff.
Yeah.
The documentaries.
You probably remember the long-standing tension between 50 Cent and Oprah. It all started when Oprah criticized the type of content in hip-hop, especially lyrics she claimed were degrading to women. Guess who was front and center in that conversation? Yep, 50 Cent. He didn't take too kindly to being singled out and felt like Oprah had it out for rappers, particularly black men in the industry.
Every time she made a mention to hip-hop culture, it was something that was wrong with it. And it was something that was on my CD that was the largest debut in hip-hop.
The feud simmered for years, with 50 even naming his dog Oprah at one point.
That's Oprah.
That's Oprah. Okay.
But things have heated up again, and now it looks like 50 Cent's calling Oprah out in a way that could really damage her. Let's talk about why 50 Cent's latest move might be the nail in the coffin for Oprah. We've all seen Oprah linked to some seriously controversial figures. People like Harvey Weinstein, Sean Diddy Combs, and even John of God, yeah, that John, the so-called spiritual healer who's now serving time for horrific crimes.
But we've been investigating this man's practices around the world and have found a sinister history of police investigations, allegations, and secret recordings.
But what does 50 Cent have to do with this? Well, apparently the idea is that he's calling it like he sees it. He's been vocal about the fact that Oprah tends to protect certain powerful men, especially when they're involved in sketchy stuff.
But what's the surprise so far in the other announcements that have been made so far?
I know that Gal's, her great friend, but and it's my movie, Lee Daniels, The Butler, but the fact that Oprah didn't get a Golden Globe nomination is shocking.
Now let's be real. Everyone knew Harvey had a shady reputation long before his fall from grace. But Oprah, she was still kicking it with him for over 2 decades. She didn't just know Harvey. She openly supported him, even calling him her friend. But this is where things get weird. People in the industry had been whispering about Weinstein's sleazy antics since the 90s.
What do you mean by body flashback?
I can feel him there.
So Oprah really had no clue about what was happening right under her nose? Or was she turning a blind eye to keep herself in the good graces of Hollywood's biggest power player? Singer Seal described it this way.
What I reposted was commentary on the hypocritical and double-standard nature and behavior of Hollywood.
When Weinstein's empire came crashing down thanks to the Me Too movement, Hollywood was quick to cut ties and throw him under the bus. And Oprah? At first, she didn't say much, but rumors started swirling that, behind the scenes, she reached out to support him, trying to keep things quiet while the storm brewed. She said, "If we make this just about Harvey Weinstein, then we will have lost this watershed moment. I think this is a moment where no matter what business you work in, there have been women who not only had the disease to please, that's a part of it, but who felt that in order to keep my job, in order to keep my positioning, in order to keep moving forward, I've got to smile. I've got to look the other way. I've got to pretend he didn't say that. I've got to pretend he didn't touch me. I think those days are about to be over." Let's be honest, Weinstein's behavior wasn't some tightly guarded secret. People in the industry knew about the rumors. Actresses like Gwyneth Paltrow, Angelina Jolie, and Ashley Judd had shared their stories, and Weinstein's casting couch reputation was legendary. Even if people weren't outright calling him a there were enough whispers about his sleazy behavior that someone like Oprah, who was one of the most well-connected people in Hollywood, had to know. But instead, she turned it into a kumbaya moment.
I think that this is, I'm always trying to look for the rainbow in the cloud, whatever is the silver lining.
It's hard to ignore the fact that Oprah, a self-proclaimed advocate for women, was super close to one of Hollywood's biggest controversial figures. And while her team can deny all day that she reached out to support him during his downfall, it's hard to shake the feeling that she's trying to keep some things under wraps. So did she stay silent because of what Weinstein could offer her in terms of connections and influence? And what makes this a harder pill to swallow is that if you think Harvey is the only sketchy person she is connected to, you would be wrong, because she is also being named in the court documents of Diddy's lawsuit. Now, let's dive into Diddy for a second. His name has been popping up in all kinds of controversies lately, from allegations of AB to weird behind-the-scenes power plays. Diddy's empire might be full of success stories, but the rumors of what happens behind the scenes, not so pretty.
So this case is about money, power, respect, sex, and
And who's been seen cozying up to him at times? Oprah herself. Is she turning a blind eye here too? Or is there something more to this relationship? Recently, Ally Carter released a video in which she made some really shocking claims about their relationship. She openly claimed that she was awed by Diddy, and that all those alleged Diddy's secret tunnels that lead to Diddy's Playboy mansion actually exist.
Ally Carter has just made an affidavit of truth that she turned over to the feds against Diddy and other celebrities about how she was allegedly at a Playboy Mansion party.
And he was not alone. She exposed many names in a document who were the regular attendees of the parties. And guess what? That list shockingly had Oprah's name. According to Ally, she knew Oprah is as serious a criminal as Diddy is, and she even predicted his arrest alongside Oprah's.
I already knew that Diddy and Oprah is about to get arrested.
But she is not the only one who came forward. Well, it seems like 50 also knows these things. Yeah, you've heard about it. Well, given their history, 50 Cent has never held back when it came to taking shots at Diddy. And with Homeland Security recently raiding Diddy's homes, things just got a whole lot messier. Now everyone's talking. Rumors are swirling that 50 Cent might even be involved with the authorities, stirring up this drama to keep the heat on his longtime rival. Even some damning revelations from former bad boy artists were attributed to 50 Cent's instigations.
And on this bottle, they be regular Moet bottles. On them bottles right there, they gonna have something to make the girls be real slippery and all of this kind of stuff.
Let's be real. 50 has been clowning Diddy on social media for years now, making a point to call him out whenever something shady goes down. In classic 50 style, he dropped a now-deleted Instagram post that hinted Diddy's troubles were far from over, suggesting that the bad press swirling around the music mogul was only the beginning. Sharing a screenshot showing Sean's two sons, Justin and King Combs, being escorted out of his Los Angeles home in handcuffs, 50 Cent wrote, "S just got real, the feds in all the cribs. Damn, they got the kids in cuffs." In a second post, which featured images of the feds outside of Sean's LA home, he pointed out, "Now it's not Diddy do it, it's Diddy done they don't come like that unless they got a case."
That's why I don't be going to the coffee parties. They can hug you from the front and the back of the same time. What you talking about?
Now Now here's where things get even more interesting. Think about it. 50 has been exposing Diddy left and right, but what's stopping 50 from slamming Oprah too? She's been linked to some questionable people in the past, and Diddy's ongoing troubles are just the latest addition to that messy list. If 50's got a bone to pick with Diddy, you bet he's not gonna let Oprah off the hook either. As we've highlighted earlier, it's no secret that Oprah's rubbed elbows with some of the most controversial figures in Hollywood, including Diddy's. Now, that should make you wonder, did Oprah really not know what was going on behind the scenes? Or is she, once again, playing the game, aligning herself with powerful people despite their shady pasts? For 50 Cent, this is apparently Oprah being Oprah again. Perhaps that's why 50 is essentially blowing the whistle on how Oprah seems to always be connected to these powerful men with some serious skeletons in their closets. He's making it clear. The people you associate with say a lot about you. And let's be real, when your inner circle includes guys like Weinstein and Diddy, that's not exactly a good look. If you can remember, you'd recall that the 50 Cent versus Oprah beef didn't start today. During an interview some years back, he said, "So she ain't never going to have me on that show. I'm never going to reach that platform," which is confirmation of you being a huge success. So I just said, okay, if we can't be friends, then at least let's be enemies. So with that kind of history, it really makes sense seeing 50 Cent bash Oprah. So, especially on her connections to rich and problematic men. Now that leads us back to Oprah's connection to one particular man, John of God. This so-called spiritual healer from Brazil was once praised by Oprah, who even featured him on her show back in 2010, boosting his fame and giving him instant credibility. Millions of people around the world saw Oprah, one of the most trusted voices in media, validate this guy, leading to an even bigger following for him.
This is an interview I wasn't sure would ever happen. One of the most famous spiritual healers in the world rarely talks to anyone on camera. John of God agreed to sit down with me under a mango tree.
But here's where things get really dark. Fast forward a few years, and the truth comes out, John of God was running a massive S operation. We're talking about HTSA and exploitation of vulnerable people, mostly women, who trusted him to heal them. The crimes this man committed were absolutely unspeakable, and Oprah had a front row seat to all of it. Oprah didn't just casually mention John of God. She praised him on her platform, giving him the Oprah seal of approval that everyone knows is pure gold. People trusted Oprah, so by featuring him on her show, she pretty much handed him a megaphone to reach more victims. He wasn't some obscure healer anymore. He was Oprah endorsed, and that gave him the kind of legitimacy that PD dators dream of.
As a medium, he's a spiritualist. He believes a great deal in God, and he practices this mission.
But now that the truth has come out, and it's horrifying, we're left asking some serious questions. Did Oprah really have no idea what was going on with this guy? Or did she turn a blind eye because he was helping her build a brand of spiritual wellness that fit her narrative? Well, netizens also have their say on the situation. One person wrote, "Oprah needs to be in jail with him." Another one added, "Oprah doesn't like when the Bible says the Most High is a jealous God. Yet she's asking this creep, who makes her feel humbled, evokes humility, how to be a medium for God. It doesn't make any sense. Little children, beware of idols." Let's be real. John of God's use wasn't a small operation. He was running a full-blown T-ring under the guise of spiritual healing. So, it's hard to believe that someone like Oprah, with all her resources and connections, wouldn't at least have heard whispers about what was happening. The rumors were out there. And if we know that now, what are the chances that Oprah, with her massive influence and network, didn't hear anything back then? But people do take notice of these things, as one observer commented, "Who knew? Oprah too." Brazilian court pronounced Gullity's sentence on December 19th, 2019. 19 years in jail, and more to come, with over 300 accusations /victims /women and girls. Do you think that others either knew and looked the other way or helped him in his crimes? So if she knew even a little bit of what was going on, why did she continue to support him? And if she didn't know, how is that even possible? Oprah is known for being thorough and deeply involved in her projects, so it's hard to buy that she was totally clueless. Apparently, Oprah's influence gave John of God more power to prey on people. By featuring him on her show, she legitimized him to millions of viewers around the world. People saw him as this miraculous healer, someone who Oprah herself trusted, and they flocked to him for help. But instead of finding healing, they became victims of some of the most horrific crimes imaginable.
Do we all have the possibility in our own way to be a medium for God?
Todos nós somos médium.
Everybody is a medium.
When we talk about HT and SA, it's easy to feel detached, like it's something happening far away. But this was someone who Oprah, one of the most trusted people in the media, brought into our living rooms. How many women were drawn to John of God because they saw him on Oprah? How many of them were lured into his operation because they believed that if Oprah trusted him, he had to be legit? If Oprah had known what was really going on, could she have stopped him? Think about it. She had the platform, the resources, and the global reach to expose this guy before he ruined more lives. Instead, she helped build him up. By putting him on her show, Oprah didn't just boost his reputation, she gave him more access to victims. And now, knowing what we know, it's impossible not to wonder how many lives could have been saved if Oprah had chosen to dig deeper, or if she had used her platform to expose the truth instead of promoting him. Oprah's connection to John of God raises some uncomfortable questions about her responsibility in all of this. Sure, she may not have been directly involved in his crimes, but by endorsing him, she became part of the chain of events that led to countless people being hurt. When you're Oprah, you don't get to claim ignorance. With great power comes great responsibility. And Oprah wielded her power in a way that allowed a Dator to flourish. John of God isn't the only controversial figure Oprah has been linked to either. Let's not forget her long-standing friendship with Harvey Weinstein. We've already talked about that, but it shows a pattern. Oprah has this habit of aligning herself with powerful men who, as it turns out, are involved in some seriously dark stuff. Now, when these men get exposed, Oprah always seems to distance herself or claim ignorance. But how many times can she play that card? We've seen powerful people get brought down for far less. With Oprah's connections to people like John of God and Harvey Weinstein, how much longer can she keep her untouchable image? People are starting to question the company she keeps, and it's not a good look for someone who's built an empire on being a voice of truth, healing, and empowerment. One of the keen observers commented, "She's a handler, and I'm happy to see more people are becoming aware of the toxic person she truly is." Another one added, "Narcissists don't take accountability. Oprah will never take responsibility for things she says or does." Could Oprah's ties to men like John of God and Diddy finally be the cracks in her empire? When you're linked to people involved in HTSA and other crimes, it's only a matter of time before the public starts holding you accountable. And right now, people are definitely asking questions. So it's not surprising seeing that 50 Cent isn't not pulling punches when he points out that Oprah's ties to men like this are beyond shady. Sure, she eventually distanced herself after the crimes came to light, but isn't that just convenient? Did she know more than she let on before all this was exposed? And why did she give him a platform in the first place? Is she really someone who can be trusted as a moral authority? It looks like for 50, the answer is no. 50 said, "They are misogynistic, but the world is not under the same circumstances. Are you going to tell a painter what to paint? I'm an artist. Why am I limited to what you feel should be said? In film and television, they will show art imitates life. Are you not aware of those situations taking place?" So what's next for Oprah? 50 Cent seems to think that this could be the end of her public reign. After all, how many times can you be connected to controversial, even criminal figures before people start asking serious questions? Will Oprah's empire crumble because of these associations, or is she too powerful to fail? We all know the saying, where there's smoke, there's fire. And right now, there's a lot of smoke surrounding Oprah. With 50 Cent fanning the flames and exposing these connections, it's hard not to wonder, is this the final straw for Oprah? Well, she's positioned herself as a champion for justice and empowerment, but her relationships with men like Diddy and Weinstein and John tell a different story. So let's wait and see.
You know, the summer before in 20